Hello YouTube family, James Green, part 2 on this bearing slash bushing replacement for the Shop Smith belt sander pulley. I've moved the camera around so you guys are kind of sitting at the end of the lathe there, get a little bit better view instead of behind. Got everything set up, and what we're going to do, we dug through our box because we all know if you drill a drill bit or hole with a bit, it's not going to be on size. It could be, especially in softer material, it's going to get larger. So the finished size on the shaft here, the shaft I've mic'd it on each end is approximately 622. So 5/8 is 625. The difference in the bushings between here and the old ones were at, I want to say, on this long end, and what I call the long end, as you can see there's two slots here. On this long slotted end, the bushing was actually, because this is the main side that whenever you tighten it, you're sitting at the machine and the belt's running this way, you adjust this, and this is what kind of, well actually it sets like this, and what it does, it tightens up the belt to adjust the tracking, and also at the same time, when you, it also not only adjusts the tracking, but it creates the tension on the belt. So on this side here, the shaft is fine. There's just a little bit of wear on the top. And like I said, very minutely, because this thing pushes, this doesn't spin. It sits stationary, and that pulley rotates on the shaft and it just pushes up. And so that's where they sit in these little key areas here. So this side didn't have as much wear as this one, I guess by design or whatever. So this side actually was 2.5 thousandths over. This is 1.5 thousandths over 5/8, meaning the nominal diameter. There was a lot of unneeded extra. So what I'm going to do with the idea is I'm going to come in with a 19/32 drill bit. Okay, we dug out, we got a brand new, well, new old stock I should say. This one hasn't ever been hooked up to anything. This has been in a box. I picked these up a while back. And so it's a Chicago Latrobe. You know, I've got a bunch of these fractional sizes. This one, again, these bushings are only about 1 inch long, but we are going to go ahead and, because one side is a little bit different than the other, so we're going to start with what I call the long side first, if you will. We made sure we've deburred this, again, this stainless steel shaft. Unknown grade of stainless, but we're going to go ahead and fit this side here. It is a little worn on the top, and really there's nothing we can do about it, but it is still acceptable to do what we need to do to run a belt sander. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I've got a drill bit ready, and what we're going to do is we're actually going to do some boring, and I'm going to sneak up on this right at or just under 5/8, because both these shafts on both this side here mic at 622, 623. I am going to go, and I'm just going to kind of feel how it fits. I don't want it too tight, and I don't want it too loose. This is one of those, we're going to sneak up on it real slow, and so you'll see the tooling that I've got. Matter of fact, here's the boring bar that's already set up. I dug through my stuff, and it is a real small well, there went that tube. A real small 222, and you can see it's got a positive rake, okay, which is what you want when you're cutting brass, bronze, aluminum. You want something that has a positive rake. So we're going to slip that in there after we drill our hole, and we'll go ahead and sneak up on it. Okay, all right. Let me go ahead and move the camera around here, guys and gals, and we'll get you lined up for your viewing pleasure. And I will even zoom you in a little bit, and I will try my best to keep out of the way. Can't make any promises, but I am going to try my best here. And so that should give you enough room with me moving things in and out. You'll be able to see what I am doing. Alright. And what we did is we already made sure that one thing, I'm always talking about having a square handy. Since we've already turned this down to the desired diameter, which, just so you guys know what's going on, because I've got some Loctite, because I wanted these a real nice tight slip fit. I've got some that and some epoxy And so what I'm going to do is these will actually slide on here. And it's a real tight, I mean, there's no movement. It's a slip fit. Now we don't want this to move, and what you can do is put Loctite, and I've got some Loctite on there. So we'll do one, then we'll do the other. But we will get them to size first. Once we get it to size, we will internally, we'll part it off, and then we'll move over and we'll do the other bushing. So once we get the inside to how we want it, because I just want to make sure I'm not trying to drill a precise hole too long and accidentally get these the wrong size. So one thing you can do, and we've already checked to make sure everything's square, is we've butted our tool post up against and made sure we're square. We've tightened it down. I've already done that off camera, so we don't have to, you know, there's a lot of times I don't show certain things, and I've had viewers ask me, and there's a lot here with understanding that certain operations, you guys, I may not explain every step, and I apologize for that. I'm teaching a lot of these, or not teaching, but I'm just showing you with the understanding that you already kind of know how to do some of this stuff. But by all means, if you have any questions, email me, ask me in the comments. My public email address, eagledustoff37@gmail.com. Alright, so here we go. Let's see, let's get everything. We're going to go ahead and drill these first, and we're running 460 RPM. Come up here. And I like to put just a little bit of tension on here just to kind of snug that up. Even though there's not a lot of slop, I just want to make sure it drills as straight a hole as possible. You know what? I am going to slow that down. Let's go to, well, let's just drop it straight to 70 RPM, see how it does. There we go. Yeah, there's no sense in getting too fast because you can cause chatter and problems. The vast majority of my stuff is either 460 RPM, and then I do all my single point threading at 70 RPM. Yeah, it's cutting just fine. And it's a new sharp bit, pulling a nice chip. I don't want to get too aggressive with cutting and accidentally perhaps snap that. How far in I was. Almost, I gotta go a little bit more. I'm sitting here reading the scale on the side of my headstock, or tailstock, I'm sorry. Okay. Alright, we'll pull this out of the way. Now, so we don't, because I don't want to undo this. What I will do, so I don't have to latch and unlatch it. And I'm not going to be blowing stuff around because I always like to keep something in my tailstock. Is I will just set this up here for right now and slide that in there just to keep any material that might out of the way. Okay. Let's clean that out a little bit. Okay. Yeah, a little more. There we go. All right. Dang, we still got some chips that are kind of hiding there. We'll blow a few that way. Okay. So our dimensions there, and we're just going to use a decimeter on this size, because we're going to be getting close for right now, is 576. Okay, so let's go ahead and we'll get our boring bar set up here. And we've already set our tool height. Now I am going to go ahead and speed this up because we are boring. I've got to turn a little faster. Back, or bottom I should say. Pardon my head if I get it in the way. I'm getting my 0 in the back there. Okay. Alright. Touching there, that 0. Now I'm going to take take 2 thousandths. And then that'll give us a nice smooth bore. And I will be able to, at that time, we'll get our snap gauge. All right. Slide this back out of the way. Alright, we'll get our little bitty snap gauges out. We keep a couple of those handy on sizes that we do use all the time up here. Let's see, we're going to need, no, that's too big. So the smaller ones here, we're going to need a 1/2 to 3/4 will work for what we're doing because we need to go, actually yeah, 1/2 to 3/4. So there we go. Alright. Someone's digging me. Hey, one of my buddies. Hey, I got a question. Which is fine. I'm always doing stuff like that during the day. That's why sometimes these projects take me a bit. Okay. And let's see where we're at as far as we are 596, so we got a bit to go here. Someone interesting, or someone, hey, have you got this? Or, you know, I do a lot of that during the day. That's why my projects take a while at times. Okay, so let's go ahead and take 3 thousandths. I'm going to sneak up on this, so ever carefully. Just because I want this to be a nice tight fit. Okay, and we are at 603 thousandths. Let's try that again. Just to make sure, because we got a bit to go. Yep, 603 thousandths. Feedback on this and have it do like a spring pass. There we go. You're at .613, and this is going to be the long end, and this is actually on the end of the tube here because that's the area that wasn't worn. We are at on the fat end, if you will. 621.22, and we said we were .613, so I'm going to take two more thousandths out total. Well, actually each side, so 4. That'll get us right up to where we need to be. Should get us close. Let's go see where we're at. Okay. So real light. Back feed by hand just to make sure I get whatever. There might be a spring cut. Really feed it slow, because on this insert you can feed it forward and backward. It won't hurt because it's a triangular tip, not like some boring tips that are made specifically for cutting going in. This one, because it's a triangle tip, you can actually cut either direction. And seeing as how it's a soft material, it will cut it. We just want to make sure we got everything. You know, it's got a little chatter in there, but we're not worried about that because, again, this is, you know. Let me get that tight there. There we go. Okay. Make sure we're straight up and down here. We should be pretty close by now. Whoop! I bumped it. Don't like it when that happens. Didn't get my thing tight enough. Okay. And we are at .623, .622. So that should be close enough. Let me put the e-stop in. I'm going to go ahead, I'm not going to pull that tool out yet, but I do want to slide it back out of the way. So we should have a very, very smooth, straight on. Oh yeah, that is way better. Oh yeah. That is a very snug. That's how we want it. Nice, and you can see, and we pull it out, you'll be able to see where it's kind of high a little bit, and that's due to, and that's fine, because the bearing is actually going to end up sliding over here, because that's where that fits, and this has this kind of swelled out a little bit. So that's fine. So that's acceptable, because this is actually going to be inside. We're not going to have to worry about chamfering inside. So we'll call that good with that part. That's acceptable. I'll take the boring bar out, move it over here. And since we are running brass, we can run our the parting blade here. Actually, let's see, let's run this one instead. That one is for deeper stuff. And I've already touched it. Whenever I get done, usually I'll touch up on my parting blades, so that way I know they're good to go for the next round. And so we already marked this. I don't know if you can see it on camera, probably not. There's a Sharpie marker up here. Matter of fact, so we can catch this part. And I've probably showed this trick before. I keep this little rod handy. It's good to keep a little rod handy for things like this. You want to catch small parts, keep them out of the chip tray. And all we're going to do is slide it up here, and it's going to catch the part for us. I'm just feeding this in by hand. And before I get too deep in there, we want to go ahead and deburr a little bit. Okay. I'll just feed it in here. We got right there at the back. We almost didn't drill deep enough, I don't think. Almost. Yep, look at that. So you get to see live and unedited, which this is an easy fix, okay? Matter of fact, you can see, I don't know how well the camera will show it up. Will show it. You can see I did not go deep enough. So, you know what, that's why you make mistakes, but hey, this is an easy fix, because this has to go all the way through, so I'm not too worried about it. What I'll do is whenever I get done cutting this other one, I will actually just chuck this up, and now that I know I have this diameter, I will have it in back here, and I can work that little piece out. So that's not a, oh no, now it just lets me know, hey, on your next one. That's kind of what you get for being too careful, I guess, at times. You know, you're trying to not overdo things or waste material. So anyway, like I say, live and edited, it's an easy fix. Like I said, this is definitely going to go on, and I mean, we'll even check it on the other end, because it's essentially the same. So nice tight fit, and we will go ahead and, you know, set it up and finish it off. So these will get Loctited into, and I'll show you guys whenever I get to that point. And you guys have seen a lot of other stuff, but I'll talk about it when I go to assemble the sander. And I'm going to press some bearing. I've got to press the other bearings off the old shaft, and they're actually made in Germany, it says on the side. And we got our new ones in. VXB.com, and this was a common size bearing that was actually on here. These were, I hadn't even, which is like while you're ordering them, because it was the same shipping whether I got one or I got like 10 of them. I got 8 of them because I got to thinking, okay, what around my equipment will I have that's common, you know, common size. And they went ahead and sent them in these plastic sleeves, and this, it's actually stuck in here. This is what I like about it when you order from them. Oh, there went a couple. They send them in these plastics, and they actually cut this down, but they'll send them in these plastic sleeves. You can get them, generally they come in, you can get them in sleeves of 10, which there's the others, but so there we go. And that was actually wrapped in that, so I can keep my bearings clean now. They were in that, in a cardboard container. And here's the other two, which these are the two we'll use since we dropped them on the floor, and they're sealed. But that's what I like. Now I've got these others. They are a, well, keep dropping them. This is a 6202 RS. Very common bearing. I know that's common in a lot of alternators, like GM alternators, AC Delco, stuff like that. So it's not like it's an odd bearing, and it's just dimension size. This one's actually set up, and I checked the ratings on these. These are rated for really, really high RPM. I think I want to say around 10,200 RPM, which we won't be turning anywhere near that fast. Matter of fact, I don't even think we're over like 2,000 RPM on the settings for the belt sander on this, because you have to like dial the machine back. It has like a not a centrifugal clutch. It uses what they call a Gilmer belt. It's flat on one side and angled on the other. So as you tighten everything up and control that, and you pull the one side of the pulley in, it speeds up the head. So that's how you adjust the speeds on it. And it has kind of a setting on there: saw, band saw, lathe, you know, table saw. There's a bunch of different settings you guys can see. So anyhow, there we go. Showed you some little bit of turning work on the machine, lathe work, doing a little bit of boring, a little bit of drilling, stuff like that. Hopefully you've learned something from it. I've showed today using small boring stuff, and you can see the type of chip that was produced from having those really, and that's where it comes into. If you're a hobbyist and you're into making things out of like brass or bronze or even steel aluminum, light stuff, like even on the small benchtop lathes, the small 200, like 221, 220, 223 profile, the small stuff, you can do loads and loads and loads. You just have to do really light cuts. Even with a big machine, you know, you have to make sure you don't take too deep of a cut so you don't tear anything up. So that's what we got. We'll have those there ready, and we'll get our sander and stuff back together. So I hope you've enjoyed it. Kind of just figured I'd throw these together today. That way my viewers will have something in between my Sunday shenanigans stuff. And so hopefully by the time I get ready to do my Sunday shenanigans video, I'll have this up and running. I'm going to be setting up and doing, hopefully I will have it done before then, some color case hardening. Also got some new and exciting news coming up, and I'll talk about that on Sunday shenanigans. James Green, short series shenanigans, midweek episode here, kind of just showing some neat stuff that's going on. Like I always say, take care of yourself and take care of your family, because remember, at the end of the day, remember, you and your family is all you got. Make sure you got your protective equipment on, and be safe. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.